Hello, Premium Hunters. It's Andrew here to give you better options. I've been trading options for over 25 years, and I am currently consistently averaging about 5,000 per week in my options trading. So on this channel, I will pull back the curtain and show you exactly what I trade and how I trade them. And so each week I'll be posting an update of my trades. So if you're interested in options trading, or if you want to learn more details about the strategies I use to generate these profits, make sure to like, subscribe, and click the bell notification so that you can follow my journey. My goal is to bring you better options. And here's the format I'm going to be using for these videos. First, what I'm going to do is, again, this is going to be an update each and every week. You're going to be able to see the new trades that I put on for that week. I'm going to discuss the strategy of each trade that I put on and the ultimate goal for that trade. I'm also going to get into all of the closed trades that I closed out for that week. So I will look at each trade, talk about the strategy, the goal. I will show you how much I made on that trade, or if I lost, how much I lost. And then I will also get into a performance analysis. As time goes on, I will analyze my overall performance, comparing the current week to previous weeks. Is my performance improving or is it slipping? And then finally, I'll share any insights I've gained from this analysis. Just a reminder that I will be releasing future videos to cover all of the strategies that I discuss in these weekly update videos, to show you all of the details behind the trade, including a step-by-step guide on how to execute them. So now that you know what to expect, let's jump into our analysis or our update of the first week. So this was for week 1 of January, which was a new year, 2025, obviously. There was only 2 trading days of that week because New Year's Day is a holiday. So 2 trading days. And the first trade that I have here is a gold futures contract. I did a strangle with the strikes of 30.90 and 24.25. Now, you may notice how wide the strikes are. That's 665 points. That's pretty massive. And that's because the underlying is a futures contract. The futures give me leverage, which enables me to widen out those strikes and still collect a pretty good amount of premium. And I really like these because the profit is pretty fat. I actually closed one of these trades prior to opening this one. So if you hang around to the P&L portion of this video, you'll be able to see how much profit these trades can generate. All right, so the next one is what I call the weekly wheel. It's the Wheel of Fortune. If you're familiar with that, that's a pretty common trading strategy in options. It's great for newcomers because it's pretty easy to understand. I do it on a weekly basis so that I can generate weekly income. And that's it's basically where I sell cash secured puts and either collect 50% of the premium if the stock moves up, sideways, or down slightly, or I get assigned the shares. And I only do this on stocks that I don't mind owning. These are stocks with strong fundamentals. So because of that, I don't mind owning them if I get assigned the stock. I'd want to own them anyway if I wasn't trading options. But doing these weekly, like I said, ensures that I can generate a weekly income. So I was selling cash secured puts on Amazon for 8 weeks before I was assigned, which greatly reduced my cost basis. This is the 4th time I sold calls against these shares. So even though I was assigned the shares at $230 per share, I've reduced my cost basis the whole way down to $214.47. So I'll just keep selling calls against these shares until they get called away, at which point I'll go back to selling cash secured puts. So if you look at the table there, the WW stands for weekly wheel. The C stands for a call, that I sold a call. And the L1 I'll explain in just a little bit, but it also identifies there 220 as the strike price that I sold. I expect to be in it from anywhere from 4 to 5 days is about average. Sometimes it's a little bit longer. Sometimes it will close out the same day, which is really nice. It's always nice to make those quick profits. But yeah, so that's it for this Amazon trade. Next is Planeteer, where I got assigned. I'm also doing the weekly wheel on Planeteer. I'm actually doing it on 3 stocks right now. It's Amazon, Google, and Planeteer. And after selling cash secured puts on it 12 times, I was assigned at $82 a share. Well, my cash basis, because I sold all of those cash secured puts, I was able to drive my cost basis down almost $10 a share, down to $72.55. So if you look, this is just identifying that I was assigned these shares. I own the shares at $82. I don't have any expected duration because I'm just going to keep selling calls until the shares get called away. And there's really no profit target there. My profit comes every time I sell these calls and puts. As long as I'm not selling the calls below my cost basis, which would generate a loss, then I'm fine. So that's where I got assigned. And so here's where I sold my calls against those shares that were assigned. Let me explain. Here's where I can explain the L1. The big problem that you can get into with the wheel strategy is if you sell puts and the stock crashes and goes deep into money. If the stock drops too far below your strike price, it will be very hard to generate income on those calls. So I implement what I call a strategy that I call a tri-level rationed capital. Basically refer to it as a tri-level rationed capital. And basically what that means is instead of allocating all of my capital towards the stock that I'm using for the wheel strategy, I divide that money by 3 and only allocate a third of the capital, which allows me to keep the remaining capital in the event the stock crashes. So if that happens, I'll be able to continue to generate income by selling more cash secured puts at the new lower level. All right, so here I sold the calls at $74. I expect to be in it for 4 to 5 days. I want to get 50%. If I can't get the 50% and I get called out, that's okay. I'll just go back to selling cash secured puts at whatever level the stock is at. So this is where I have my first level 2 with Planeteer. So if you notice, the first level was 82. I was selling puts at the 82 level. And then once I got assigned, I started selling puts at the new level because the stock is now trading lower. I am now selling the puts here at the 78 level, and that's why I have the L2 to help me keep track of these puts, that they are they're a whole new level. They're a whole new wheel, basically a whole new wheel. They're a different wheel than the L1. So the first level, like I said, was 82. The new level is 78. And if I get assigned at that 78 level, I still have some capital set aside to sell more cash secured puts at whatever that new lower level would be. Keeping track of these trades, what your cost basis is, and which level these trades apply to can be tricky. I have spreadsheets that help me keep track of all of this, and I use that L1, L2, L3 designator to help me keep them straight. All right, so let's go on here to the next one is Amazon. It's another weekly wheel. It's a put at the level 2. Again, remember I was assigned at 230. Now I'm selling puts at a new level. These are cash secured puts at the new level of 220. And so again, it's basically the same thing. 4 to 5 days is the expected duration. And I'm either going to take a 50% profit or I'm going to get the shares called away, at which point I'll sell cash secured puts I'll go back to selling cash secured puts, which I'm still doing. Well, I'm sorry. These are the cash secured puts at the new level. So if the risk here is I can get assigned the stock, and if I do get assigned the stock, then I'll start selling the calls against that stock. See how it gets a little confusing to keep them straight. All right, but anyway, the last trade that I did, that I did for the first week of January is AVGO or Broadcom, and that is a put ratio spread, which I haven't traded very much. I haven't done much with put ratio spreads, but I opened this small position because I'm thinking about adding it to my arsenal. Put ratio spreads have some pretty cool characteristics to them, and they have a very high win rate. So I'll hold this too, but not through expiration. Holding it through expiration can be risky. I'll close it out on the day of expiration, and I'll make another video to explain why it's risky, and then I'll also make another video explaining why the put ratio spread has such a high win rate and what's so interesting about that strategy. So I do hold it the whole time. When I opened the trade, there was 47 days left until expiration. The strike prices I have at $225 and $215. I expect to get a profit of $247. I can actually make significantly more, which is part of the really cool aspect of this trade. But I don't expect to. There's not a high probability that I can make more than 247. If I make 247, I'm happy with that. But yeah, that's those are my new trades for week 1. Now let's get into the closed trades. I had 6 trades that closed. They all closed profitable. I made a profit on all of them, so it's a 100% win rate, and of course that makes it a 0% loss rate, no losses. Let's get into it. The first trade, again, this is, remember I talked about how much I liked the trading strangles on futures because of the leverage. Well, as you can see here, I made $3,883.92. That trade was open for 23 days, made $168.87 per day. The return on capital is a whopping 12.9%, which makes it an annualized return on capital of 204.2%. Very healthy return on capital. That's why I love these trades so much. The next one is one of the weekly wheel strategy or trades that I closed on Amazon. I made $742.49. It was open for 3 days. My profit per day was $249.50. The return on capital was 0.6%, and the annualized return on capital was 68.4%. The next one is another weekly wheel that I closed on Amazon. Made $592.50, opened for 10 days. You can see the profit per day, return on capital, and annual return on capital. Here's my Google. I didn't do any new trades on Google, as you saw, but I did close one out. It's a weekly wheel, $262.52, and that was open for 8 days. You can see the PPD, ROC, and annual ROC. And then here's a Planeteer weekly wheel strategy that I closed out for $647.61. That was open for 10 days, and you can see the rest of the data on that trade. And then the last one was actually a mistake. That's why I have an asterisk by the WW. When I do these weekly wheel trades, I want to keep the number of contracts consistent every time, because that makes it a lot easier to compute my cost basis if I do get assigned the shares. And when I enter this trade, I accidentally entered it for 1 contract when I normally do 3. So as soon as I realized my mistake, I just went ahead and closed it back out and reopened the trade. And fortunately, I did make a small profit there of $24.75. But that was an error, but it's still profit and it's still relevant. So I went ahead and listed it here. All right, so let's take a look at the totals. My total profit, $6,153.79. The average days open for these trades was just under 11 days. My average profit per day was just under $100, and my average return on capital was 2.1%, with the average annual return on capital being 173.8%. So that's a great way to start 2025, especially considering that there was only 2 trading days to make over $6,000. I'm very happy with that. And let's hope that that's a sign of things to come for 2025. But as 2025 goes on, and as I continue to make these weekly updates, I will be filling out this table so that you can see how I'm performing. Maybe this was just a lucky week, and I'm not going to make that much throughout the rest of the year. But if you tune in, you'll be able to see, and we'll be able to compare my performance week to week. So that's it for this week's update. Thank you for stopping by and checking it out. If you have any questions or comments, please write them in the comments section below. And I'm just getting started on this channel, and there's a lot more coming. So if you like what you see so far, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you will be notified when I upload more content. Take care for now, and I look forward to bringing you more better options. Bye-bye.